For updates and sports stories across the globe, Aaron Akerijola joins us. Good morning, Aaron.
Yeah, good morning to you, Ayo. Good morning to you, Doctor. Good morning to you, Rufai. Let's get it started off with the big game that actually came out yesterday. Manchester United against Barcelona at Old Trafford. And once again, Manchester United, they just seem to be on the run. And kudos to them. On the day, we thought that Lewandowski would have a massive say in what would actually happen. But unfortunately for them, Manchester United have a knack of coming back in the second half and actually having a good game. And of course, also there was a massive game yesterday as PSV decided that they were going to do themselves proud and actually qualify for the next round of the Europa League. So as it stands right now, kudos to Manchester United. They're still on the run and they have an opportunity later on. We'll talk about that in a moment. An opportunity to actually even get into the cup mode. But in the meantime, let's talk about the under-20 national team. Talking about the Flying Eagles, and kudos to them. And they were able to defeat the home team and the host of this particular competition, the Young Pharaohs, as they actually have put themselves in a very, very good position to go in, not just into the next round of the competition, but hopefully advance into the next stage of this particular competition with the hope of probably building on that particular momentum. They started off on a low. We're hoping that they finish their final game of the season, their final game of the group on a high and just take it from there. The Flying Eagles are world beaters. They've actually teetered off in the past few years. We're hoping that they will rise to the occasion once again. And one man has been speaking. Emmanuel Amunike, we know him. Yes. Africa Footballer of the Year. He has played at the highest level, won trophies, both as a player and as a coach. And he said in 1994, one of the qualifiers, he actually played with one eye. And it shows dedication, determination, and something that this present crop of Super Eagles do lack. And we hope that they can actually learn from this, pull from this, and go on to do the Super Eagles proud, because right now, the Super Eagles are at one of the lowest erbs ever. And we're hoping that this March, when they begin qualifiers again for the Nations Cup next year, they'll restore a little bit of faith. But let's see how it goes. But in the meantime, let me just throw this one in ahead of the Carabao. But first of all, Bukayo Saka has actually spoken, and he has actually said that he's glad that he wants to commit his future to Arsenal. And Arsenal are going to reward him with £200,000 a week. And they'll be giving him an extended contract. He's actually earned this particular contract with what he has actually done on and off the pitch for the Gunners. And I must say kudos to him and all he has actually done. And finally, this weekend, the Carabao Cup. And we're going to see Manchester United gunning for a trophy for the first time more than 3-4 years right now. And they'll be going against Newcastle United, who themselves haven't won a trophy in over a decade. So let's see what happens. Or they've not gotten to the final in over a decade. So they'll be hoping that they can actually get something. And probably maybe that investment from Saudi will begin to yield dividends. So it is Manchester United against Newcastle United this weekend, the Carabao Cup final. The first silverware for the season.
I think it's going to be a tough one. Man U is in sparkling form. Kudos to them about how they, beat Barcelona.
Yeah.
That sparkling form. Really, I'm really, really excited that they went out there. I think it was payback time. I think it was the first time since the 80s, I think 1985 thereabout, that Barcelona has been dumped out, in round of 16 in Europe. I
think this should be 98. 1998.
Yeah, in Europa, you know. So I'm really excited about what Man U has achieved. It shows that when you have a good leader, a good coach, you have a good team, a good thinker. I can't say the same for Chelsea. And I don't know why Graham Potter.
The point is, it takes time.
No, I don't think it takes time for Graham Potter. I don't think.
Remember at the beginning of the season, Manchester United were looking lost at sea.
I don't think
they were in 5 and 6.
I don't think honestly Graham Potter is a world-class coach. I think Ten Hag has been tested with what he did in Ajax, but not Graham Potter. Not just one season or 2 season flash in the pan. You bring into coach and say it's Chelsea, for God's sake. It's not Crystal Palace, please. No offense to Graham Potter. Moving on that. What Amunike talked about just shows the dedication. And it's not only even Nigerian footballers that were very dedicated. It's across board, across the Africa. When I saw that game you are putting on the background, it brought a lot of tears because I remember that game particularly. Why? Leading up to that game, a year before, the Zambians had this plane crash.
I remember.
That most of their footballers died. And you remember how Kalusha Buaya led the team. And the Zambians came back stronger.
Yes.
You could see people that had headband all over. I think in that game particularly, their captain was injured and he had to tie a band over his head and he still played on through the game. And those are the kind of people that the kind of dedication we lack in the Super Eagles team today. Now you call a player, he's feeling like he's on top of everybody else. But you can also exonerate the blame too from the fact that NFF too has failed in fact of management. Because as at that time, I remember what made the success of the team was the likes of Emeka Omeruwa supporting the team, ensure that General Sonny Abacha got out all the monies from 94 as I went due. Westerhoff always got his money. There was never any time Westerhoff really complained about not getting his money for his players. But you remember that in 1998, things changed. You remember the infamous fight in the camp of the Super Eagles leading up to the game against Denmark that made them perform poorly in the game against Denmark.
Yeah,
was because salaries and allowances were not paid. And we all remember how that happened. And the indiscipline in the camp that players were gallivanting everywhere. Honorable mention, Taribo West.
Let's leave that.
Let's leave all of those things aside.
Bygones should be bygones.
Let's talk about the current Flying Eagles.
Yes.
Who are representing us in Egypt.
Yeah.
On Sunday, they lost 1-0 to Senegal. Now, they were able to, on Wednesday, to beat Egypt.
Yes.
1-0 to remain in the game. And then now, on Saturday, they will be meeting Mozambique. Mozambique lost 3-0 to Senegal in the second match. So tomorrow, that February 25, is the day Nigeria expects to win. Not just at the post, but also on the football pitch in Egypt.
Yeah.
It should be a day of victory for Nigeria.
I hope they carry that sense of patriotism.
And Ladan Boso should tell his boys that, okay, you have to win to go to the quarterfinals and to keep your record as 7-time champions at that level and go to the World Cup. I think the World Cup is in Indonesia.
Yes.
Right. Okay, so that's the expectation. Eric Ten Hag, yes, well, he's been boasting, and he can as well boast. He says the Man U that he is managing now, a much improved team, can beat any team, including Man City or anybody that comes around. Because he has been able to put a mosquito in the midfield. That mosquito caused problems for Barcelona.
but kudos to Casemiro.
Yeah.
Maybe some felt that he didn't get the needed recognition at Real Madrid. Some will argue, but at Manchester United he's a superstar.
Finally, I read a statement on Twitter, I think, by Sergio Ramos, who says, well, he will not play, he's ending his international career. Because the coach has forced him, Fuentes, says he will not use Sergio Ramos. He didn't take him to Qatar World Cup 2022, and he says he has no use for his services. And he says it's painful because Pepe is still playing, Messi is still playing, Modric is still playing. But, the international coach for his country says he cannot play anymore.
No, but that comes, it comes to the territory. When a man is cantankerous and sometimes can very divisive,
but he plays well.
Oh, of course.
He has represented his country over 180 times.
Sometimes his emotions balls over and he cannot settle a dressing room. He's old and there are quite a lot of
He's 30, he will be 37.
Yes, Pepe is in his 40s.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
I don't know. But he says he's been forced out by the coach. I don't know whether that's a good thing. Thank you.
That was a pleasure.